Welcome back, guys, to That's So Akiba podcast. I'm so excited to have you here as per usual. You know, here we just hold space for anyone that is inspiring and inspiring us in the right direction of just making bold choices and really figuring out who you truly are. So today we have Batsheva Haart. You may know her from My Unorthodox Life. I know her through friends, so welcome.
Thank you. Love Miami.
Welcome to Miami, first of all.
You.
We never actually officially met. We met through a friend recently at G Beauty, Malki. Shout out to Malka Casa Malka.
Mm-hmm.
And they said to me, you need to know her. And I'm like, okay, like, sure. I trust them. They're my friends. I need to know her. And I didn't understand why they said that to me, but now I know why because I followed you on social media. I've actually never seen the show, which I think is kind of cool in a way because I get to know you now, but I got to stalk you a little bit on Instagram. Right? That's the way to do it. The reason they said that to me is because your message is so strong.
Thank you.
About being one person and being so open to becoming another and better version of yourself. And I feel like that's who I get from you now.
Thank you.
So
I'm working on that. It's a new thing for me. It's like I've been pivoting my content a little bit, and I'm like really excited about it.
I mean, for me, it's 100% inspiring, and I only follow people who inspire me. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not about how many followers we have; it's about the message that you're putting out there. But I don't know anything, so I get to just like get to know you today. You know,
love it.
And I guess I want to start with, you know, who are you? Where are you from? And then we'll just kind of like rock and roll right into like your journey right now.
Yeah. So I'm 32. I live in Miami. Amazing. I'm single. Mm-hmm. I do content.
She's single.
Single guys. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually practicing something new this month for the month of April around being single. I don't know what your audience is like, but I'm sure there are some single girls.
Only single girls. Let's do it.
How long have you been engaged or with your
My story is really complicated.
Okay.
We have a lot to talk about today.
Okay, yes. I saw little snippets on social.
We've been together now a year and a half, and we got engaged last summer.
Love it.
Yeah.
I feel like as you get a little more mature and you know yourself, it doesn't always take that long. It's just like
it doesn't. And I've been through it all. Mm-hmm. Like we can go and talk about all of the things. Like I have been in many really long relationships, engaged, unengaged, met this guy and then got engaged in 6 months. So like you never know, you know?
Absolutely. I really believe that. I think your life's path leads you to where you're supposed to go, and people 100%. Come and go from your life just to make you better.
Totally.
Yeah. So this month for April, I decided that I'm deleting the apps, and also I'm like a pursuer that I learned. I'm a little more masculine in that sense. I like the chase, and I like the making a first move. But I realized that I want to be step into my feminine energy a little bit more. That. So I deleted the apps, and I also made a commitment to myself that when I'm not going to make eye contact. The dating apps.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not social media. Dating apps. I love sliding into guys' DMs. I love making eye contact with them when I'm out.
I love
you saying
for
hi.
this.
Those are all amazing qualities, but I think some people are on the spectrum. I'm too much on the masculine spectrum in that.
I am with you on that.
And I'm trying to step into my more feminine energy because I feel like my partner will balance me more instead of making me feel like I have to step into my masculine. So I'm going the opposite direction. I'm no making eye contact with anyone. If someone wants to talk to me, they can come over. But I'm just going to be in my own. And it's been really nice. And then I'm going to find
Has it worked?
I've been getting dates. I've really just been, which was interesting, people that I previously know or random. My mom has set me up with 2 guys, and I was just so surprised that I've done nothing, and I've just been getting dates. I haven't really gone on a lot of dates. I've been trying to trust my intuition and not be okay, I'm going to go on a date just to go on a date. And that's the other thing I'm working on.
Yes. I feel like there's so much to be said about that, about just going on a date because you know, rather than being a little picky and saying, okay, but I don't, he's not even my type. Why would I even go for him? Or looking into him a little bit. I think there's something to be said about that.
I agree. And I think it also depends where you are in life, how long you've been dating or single. And for me, I think I know who I am really well. And I've gotten there because I've been married before and divorced and had relationships.
Yes.
So I don't know that that's for everyone. But I think sometimes you are like, just go. You'll never know. And I'm like, learning to trust my intuition.
I love that.
A little
bit more. Well, let's go back then because I don't know anything. So I want to know all of the things. You know, you're 32. You've already been married. You're divorced. And now you're already open to dating. So take me back.
So I got married. I grew up in an ultra-Orthodox community. I lived in Muncie, New York, which is like super Orthodox, little bubble. Didn't really know anything else.
Wow.
Got married at 19 to a 19-year-old. So blessed for that relationship. Like I really don't have anything negative to say. It just ultimately like who we both were at 19 versus who we ended up growing into. Like we're different people.
Totally.
And it was like the hardest thing I've ever done to get divorced. And I actually like spoke about this yesterday on social, saying like that going through that breakup was like the most traumatic, horrible experience ever. And people, because I just like lost my best friend. And like he was the love of my life for a very long time. And I'll always have love in my heart for him. But I knew that we both didn't want the same future. And I had to make that like really horrible, hard decision to leave a relationship that when we told our friends, they were like, you guys have the best relationship. Like, why are you, like, that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, because we don't want the same futures. Like, why would we get to a point where we resent each other and then have to break up, as opposed to being like, we're 28 years old. Like, we still have a full life ahead of us.
Wow. So this was mutual.
I mean, I would say, like, I was the one. He would never have done it, but I was the one. But he like thanked me like a year and a half later.
Wow.
And I
that must have been such a powerful conversation.
It was, like, I was like so like it still makes me emotional like thinking about it, because I was like, one day you're gonna thank me because someone will love you exactly as you are and not like what I want you to be. And that was like...
That is so big. Hold on.
Yeah.
Not what I want you to be. That's so big. Accepting someone for who they are fully, first of all, is really hard.
Yeah.
And especially as like masculine women, we always try to like fix and tailor and design and make them be who we want them to be. But accepting someone is huge.
Yeah. And I realized like I know that that's something like I'll do with whoever I'm meant to continue my life with.
Yes.
But I knew what I wanted out of life, he didn't want the same things. And it wasn't fair to try to ask him to be who I wanted or to live the life that I wanted. And the same thing, like he couldn't ask me to do it because I just wasn't going to.
Right.
So it was the hardest thing. So even though it was the most painful, sad experience, like I think there's like this misconception that you can leave choose to leave a relationship, and then that means you don't have to be sad about it, and that you don't get to mourn it, and it doesn't feel like a loss.
It's like a misconception. Totally.
Yeah, and I was just like, I don't like. I guess that person. This was more like looking at comments of what people were saying. They're like, yeah, but you chose. Like, why was it so sad for you? And I'm like, it was a horrible thing. Like, I lost my best friend. I was with him for 11 years. I had no adult like identity that wasn't attached to him. Like every big decision I made from 17 to 28, he was part of. So doing that, like learning how to
experience at such a young age.
Yeah.
But so you grew up ultra-Orthodox, right? When you got divorced, how did that work?
So it was very gradual. My mom left the community, and that's kind of what my family's show is about. How like I went from being like ultra-Orthodox, and then my mom left the community when I was like 19, around right after I got married.
Okay.
And like didn't believe in religion anymore. Wow. And me and my ex were both like, just like my mom showed us things, but she was very much like, you do you. But this is how I'm living my life. And like, if you want to join me,
you can.
Like you can. This is what it could be like for you. So we both gradually became more, I would say, modern Orthodox, but very much like we would talk everything through. We were always on the same page.
Love that.
And then I would say close to like when I was like 26, 27, like thinking about like how do I want to live like my future life, like what kind of family would I want to raise, like that's when we started not seeing eye to eye on like religion.
Wow.
And he really accepted like whatever I wanted to do, but for me it's different. I think when you want to like, how do you want to raise your kids?
Totally.
So I think that was like really when it came to head, when I was like, okay, you want to raise a family one way, I want to raise it a different way.
Yes.
And even if you accept me and how I want to live, like we just don't see. I think kids is a totally different thing.
It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
How did you not have kids this whole time?
Yeah, well, thank God to my mom, because when I got married, they don't believe in birth control.
Right.
So my mom told me, she was like, go on birth control for 2 years. And like, if God decides to punish you, like it's in like the Bible, Torah, I don't know if people know. There's like the 10 Commandments. And like one of the main ones is to respect your parents. So my mom was like, it's a bigger mitzvah or good deed for you to respect me and my rules than to respect God. So
I have chills. Yeah.
So thank God my mom like convinced me of that. And she was like, if you go up to heaven and God's upset that you went on birth control, like he'll take it up with me.
Yeah.
Like it's not, don't worry. So then after the 2 years, we were both kind of like, didn't believe that birth control wasn't a thing. And then we just continued. And at the time I was just very much like, I did marriage young. I don't want to do kids young. Like I want to be able to like live as much regular life as I can. And I'm thankful because I got divorced, and I describe it more as like a live-in boyfriend with more paperwork when we broke up than like I don't have any other attachments to him.
Which is so wonderful for you. You get to really start fresh, I feel like. And so now, what is your relationship with religion now after dealing with all that?
I'm not religious at all.
Okay.
I do think that, I respect people who are.
Absolutely.
I think that a lot of people find a lot of comfort in religion and someone telling them like how to be, how to act, how to feel. I don't that. We allowed to curse?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Curse away, honey.
So it's just not for me.
Okay.
I'm very proud of like my Jewish identity.
Love that.
I like the cultural aspects of it.
And our traditions
are so
beautiful.
Are so nice. Like I think the morals are beautiful.
Yes.
I just don't. I would describe myself more like agnostic. Like I believe in a higher power, but I don't believe in like a designated God, so to speak. Like I just think that there's like something, energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Some people call it God. I have a negative association with the term, so I prefer to say universe.
Because of how you grew up, you think?
Yeah, it just felt very like restrictive to me. So I don't.
Wow.
Isn't
that so sad? How like. I mean, this happens in all religions, right? Where like you have to be like Orthodox, and they like impose this on you. I have family members who have done that to me, where like they'll come into my home and say like, "Oh, but you do it like this, like that's not right.
Wrong.
That's not okay." I said, "Well, this is my home. This is how we do it, and this is my relationship with God. Like I don't have to go to temple to feel like I'm a better person. No, like my temple is me on my balcony saying thank you Hashem for." Whatever that's my relationship with God.
I practice gratitude. To me, it's like more like I practice gratitude instead of saying like a blessing.
Yeah.
I just think I do it in a different way that feels more comfortable and authentic
essentially
to who
the same.
I am. Yeah.
It's the same.
And that's why I think like I say universe, people say God to me.
Correct.
Like they're the same, but it's just like I have a different association with it.
Love that.
So I would say I'm still very like spiritual.
Which I think is so much more powerful too.
Yeah, because it's about being like a good person, believing that like
I was just gonna
not
say
everything is up to you.
Yes.
I do believe that like raising kids with like God is important.
Yeah.
I don't have to like think about it just yet, but like that is something that I will instill, and just like whether I call it God or universe or whatever it is, like that there is a higher power above you.
Yes.
So there is something that you can like tap into if you feel lost or you need guidance. Yeah. So I am thankful for my upbringing. The rules and regulations around it, I didn't appreciate. And I don't think they make me like a better person.
Totally.
Too much judgment.
Yeah, a lot of judgment around it, right? Yeah. A lot of gossip too.
Yeah. So there's just too many things. But I'm, again, very respectful of all the people.
Absolutely.
Like 2 of my best friends are still very much religious. I just did like a Passover meal with one of them and her family. I drove there for the meal and I drove out, and everyone was like,
and that's okay.
Happy to see me.
As long as everyone respects each other, I think that's huge. And now your new era.
Yes.
Okay, so you got divorced at 28, right?
28, yeah.
28, and then...
So I'm on my 3rd life. Right now I'm in chapter 3. That's how I've like described my life as in chapters. So I had like my like religious married life. Then I had my like newly single New York life where I was just like...
How was that? New York single life?
Yeah, I mean...
Is it Sex in the City vibes or what was it?
Yes.
I love it. Tell me everything.
Like, I had so much fun.
Yeah.
I really did.
I love that.
Looking back, like, I was in survival mode. Before I met my ex-boyfriend, I think I went on 90 dates within a year. Like, 90 different, not 90 dates, 90 different men. I made, like, a log in my phone about it because I remember when I was first, like, newly single and my siblings were talking about dating, and I was like, I've never been on a date with anyone but my like ex-husband. So I was like, I need to go on at least 20 dates before I can meet anyone, because I thought I would jump back into a relationship. And because that was like all I knew.
Yeah, it's easy to do that. Yeah.
And then I just kept a log of it. Like every time I would go on a date, I write down the person's name just for fun. And then I would go on a date like 4 to 6 times a week, like sometimes back to back. I was insane. But it was fun. Like, I was enjoying just, like, meeting people, like, seeing different places, learning about different jobs or cultures or whatever it was.
You were just open-minded.
I was just open. I was just wasn't looking for anything. I was just, like, really excited just to, like, live life.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah, of course.
Would you sleep with some of them?
Yeah.
Love that. Like, first date vibes or?
It depends. Like, I didn't have any
open.
rules. I was open. Like,
Love
if I
that.
wanted to go for it, I totally would. If I didn't, I didn't. I got to a point, though, where I was like, I'm not going to do it just to do it. I learned to be, like, more intuitive with how I was feeling instead of being like, it's being offered. Should I just do it?
It's like a learning process.
It was a learning process.
I feel like you, I mean.
Yeah, I felt very liberating for me in the beginning. So I was like, you know,
like you're
men.
free.
Yeah. Like,
get to
men
start
can have
over.
sex with whoever they want.
Yeah,
like, why can't I?
Yes.
Like, who's to say, why are people judging that? So I found that to be, like, really fun and exciting. And then I got to a point where I was like, okay, like, I've had my ebbs and flows of when it, you know, now I'm in a stage now, like, 3 years later where I'm, like, very
intentional
with, like, who I went, like, the longest span of being, like, celibate for myself.
Wow. How long was that?
It was 3 months. It wasn't that long.
You.
But it was, for me, it was, like, a long time.
Yeah.
And I was, like, it was leading up to my birthday. And I had this, like, moment where I was, like, really, like, sad that I hadn't, like, found anyone that I actually wanted to do anything with. Because I had, like, opportunity, technically.
Yeah,
but I was just, like, it doesn't feel right. Like, I would always back out in the moment. I'm like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, it doesn't feel right to me. So, like, one hand, I was really proud of myself for being intentional.
Right.
On the other hand, I was, like, sad that
what's going on?
Wasn't connecting with anyone.
Yeah.
And I just, like, sat with myself and I did, like, a meditation because I'm very into meditation now.
Yes, I see that. We're going to go into that, too.
Yeah. It's a really cool space to be. And I was just like, this is a moment for me to just, like, reflect on myself and understand that, like, I do think, like, being intimate with someone is, like, an exchange of energy.
Totally.
And that's why, like, I don't think I could ever, like, have a buddy now. Like, it would never work. I've never had one. I've never understood how people do it. I, like, bless them.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Why do you get emotionally attached?
I don't get emotionally attached. I just, like, don't. If I'm like, want to have sex with you, it's because I'm, like, interested in you.
Yes.
I like your personality.
that.
Like, it needs to have some
But I
deeper
feel like
meaning.
when you're younger doing it, like, thinking back for me, like, when I was sleeping, I would just, like, kind of, oh, he liked me, so I would just do it, you know? I feel like I didn't have that confidence, right, to choose. I would kind of just be like, oh, okay, like, he likes me, I'll go into that. And I love that you're taking the steps to just, like, be so in tune with yourself. This is how you know you'll find your perfect man.
Yeah, I'm learning. It's been a journey.
It's such a cool thing. And I think women, you know, who are single now will really take away from that.
I mean, I hope so. And that's like what I'm kind of trying to do more is, like, share my, like, mental, what's going on in my head to, like, show the progression that I've been having, because I really went from, like, one extreme to the opposite extreme. And now I'm trying to find, like, a balance in between what feels more, like, authentic to who I am. So I had that 3-month period. And then I was on a trip and I met this guy and, like, we hung out for, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. And then, you know, there was always an option if I wanted to go back after we were out. And I just kept on saying no because I was like, it doesn't feel right. And then we went on then he was like, let's do dinner. And I was like, okay, like, going to dinner. Then I decided to lean in and I had an amazing time.
Wow.
And I sent my friends selfies, like, while he was in the bathroom. And I was like, yay, I'm no longer celibate. And it just felt very, like, true, even though, like, it wasn't someone that I necessarily saw myself dating long term. It was more, it felt right to me. And I think, like, that was, like, a big thing for me to be like, it doesn't always have to be you know, you don't have to save yourself until
Correct.
like you're
Doesn't
like,
have
oh my
to be
God,
the
I want
right
to marry
person.
them.
Yeah.
But it was like, what feels good to you? And what are you going to like wake up in the morning and be like, I'm really happy I did that, instead of like, ooh, like
that icky feeling.
That icky feeling
Yes.
is never fun. Like,
No.
who wants the icky feeling when you're like, probably should have thought
God, I
this
felt
through.
that before. Where
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
Like, what was
why
I
did
thinking?
I do
Why
that?
did I do that?
Yeah.
Just to do it? Because before it felt like, to me, it was more of like a physical thing. I think going from being like married for 9 years and having like constant regular sex with someone, my body just got used to that. So I felt very detached from like the emotional standpoint of it. And then I was like, okay, I took a full step back completely. And now I feel like I've like found it's a combination of the two. It could be like physical, but it could also just be like, I used to have this time limit. Like if it was, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months, like I had to find someone and I would make it happen. I was like, okay, physical need to get this met. And then that's why the 3 month was like such a long time, because I was like, oh my God, never done this since I lost my virginity at 19.
Wow.
But I'm not going to do it until like it really feels, not just because my body wants it, because like my mind and like I just
like
feel
being in
comfortable.
tune with your full self. Yeah.
And it's like a thing to work on.
Totally. So now at 32,
Yes.
what are you looking for?
Ooh.
Isn't this such a fun question?
Yeah,
like,
no, I love
If you could
it.
manifest the perfect person, because wow, do I know that when you manifest it, it really comes to life.
Absolutely.
What does he look and feel like to you?
Yeah. I want to like caveat slightly, just because this was something that I've recently realized, is I've always had like a very clear list. And anytime I would like date someone, I would update it a little bit on like things I learned. But then I also learned that like I have this like really incredible person envisioned in my mind. And until recently, really like until now, I don't think I've been ready to like hold that kind of person in my life. And I think there's like a lot to be said for wanting something like incredible in your life, but also realizing that you have to do the work to get there in order to like receive that person properly, the way that it could be long lasting.
Totally.
So that's like a recent revelation that I had.
That's amazing.
Around dating. So I'm like, why hasn't it worked? You know,
Yeah.
where is he?
With everything, it's that you're not
everything.
ready for it. You think you want this.
You want it.
But you're not doing the work to actually get this.
Get it and keep it.
And keep
I think
it.
that's the difference. Like,
Love that.
you get, it's like the people who like win a lottery, but then they lose all the money because like their nervous system wasn't ready to like hold that much amount of money, with maybe like not knowing how to invest or work hard or what to do with it. Like, and if someone asks me like, why are you still single? And I'm just like, well, maybe I haven't been ready to meet them. I don't know. And like that
Does
also
that bother you, that question?
I hate that question.
I do too. I feel like it's just not the right time or person. So like, why ask someone that question?
Yeah.
Like,
but then recently I was like, okay, let me like think about this for a second. And then I was like, wait, I've been on this like really beautiful journey of like finding myself and who I am and what I want. And if I was to have met someone right after my divorce, like I would be living a very different life. Like the person I'm going to get now is going to be like infinitely better because I'm better as a human.
I love that. How are you getting better as a human? Let's go into that.
Oh, I've been doing so much inner work and like personal growth probably in the past like 6 to 8 months. I was dating someone in the summer and he kind of really like with my head. And I like had to take a step back and be like, how did this person who I wasn't even officially dating, who I knew for like 6 weeks, like break my like core so much? Like, what is that?
Isn't it crazy how another human can really do that to you?
Yeah, who I wasn't even like officially dating. And that's also, I was like, this person, like, how can I have this like deep attachment to someone, let them hurt me to like this extent? Like, now what? And that's kind of what turned me. I bought this book called Calling in the One. And I really recommend it for any of your like single listeners because it's all about like kind of taking accountability for who you're attracting. And but in like
I still want to read it.
Way.
Can a non-single person read this?
I think it breaks down like your thought patterns. It talks about like childhood trauma, which doesn't have to be like, I think people always think of trauma as like, you know, someone was like physically abused or something horrible. Like trauma could be like, you know, your teacher yelled at you or like you got a bad grade and your parent told you something was wrong. Like it doesn't need to be a big deal, but a lot of those things come out in how you receive relationships or what you look for in relationships or how you just like present yourself to the world. So I think it's like a 3-month like every single day you have to like commit like 20 minutes, and it has like different activities and reflections.
Love that.
And
So
I
that was
started
your
doing
journey.
that. So I started with that because I was like, I need something. And I was talking to a friend, and she was just like, I heard really good things about this book. You should check it out. And I was like, okay. So I started with that. And it just caused me to like look inwards and see like, like what's going on? Like, why am I attracting unavailable men? Like, is this a me thing? Because I was basically repeating the same version of a person over and over again. Like, guys who like forward facing, seemed like they were ready for something or wanted something. I stopped attracting, like I started attracting like more successful or ambitious or like more masculine men instead of like boys. I always loved to date boys.
Yeah.
And
we're very similar.
I feel that.
My fiance is 4 years younger than I am.
Like, I love that. And I don't think I think age is like different. It was more like I would date younger because like I had more power.
Correct. We have control.
Yeah.
That's the masculine in us.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're talking and I'm just like, I am you.
So it's just like I was attracting the same people, and I was like, why do I keep attracting like guys who look and like feel initially like they're looking for something, but then at the end of the day, ultimately, the minute it like starts to get maybe serious,
they pull out.
They pull out. Or even with that guy in the summer that I was dating, the entire time, like once I just like decided I was interested, I was like, he's gonna end it. And my friends are like, why are you saying that? Like, because I think it was my like survival mechanism trying to prepare myself for an end because everyone else that I was interested in the past year had ended it with me. So I was like, of course he's going to end it. Of course something bad is going to happen.
Your trauma.
That was my trauma. And I was like, when it did inevitably end, I was like, I don't want, like, I need to work on myself that isn't my, like, go-to. When I meet someone, like, I'm not going to expect it to end. I'm going to be excited. Because
then you call that in.
Absolutely.
It's also manifesting in a way.
For sure. And that's why I was like, okay, that was the first thing I, like, realized. I was like, okay, I don't want to enter something being scared of it, like, and assuming it's going to end.
Yeah, you just have to lean in.
You got to lean in. Yeah. And then my mom, the way that I got into meditation, my mom is still going through, like, a really messy divorce. And she was a pretty miserable person to be around, just like unhappy and depressed. And she started going on like doing meditating and going on these like meditation retreats. And she had come back from one in September, like right after I went through this thing with this guy. And she was like, I literally thought she was like on drugs. Like, I'm like, what are they giving you? Like, are you on meds or something? Like, she was just such a different person. She was so happy. So like her energy was so light, and she just like had this like new like zest for life.
Really? From meditation.
And I was just like, what's going on there? And she's like, well, there's one in October if you want to go. And I was like, you know what? I need something that I need something else. Like this, whatever I'm doing right now isn't working. So I went with her and my sister. And his name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I definitely recommend you looking him up. He's incredible. He describes like your personality is your personal reality. Like whatever you put out into the world, like that's what is going to be mirrored back to you.
Yeah.
In your experiences. And obviously like there's a lot more in depth, but on like the basic, like he teaches you how to like go inward, and then like whatever you want to experience in your life, you like meditate on like how your body will feel when you receive that, because your brain doesn't know the difference between something that happened and something that like you think happens. And that's why memories are subjective. Like they're usually 50% true because you just remember it a certain way, and to you that's the truth.
Right.
But to someone else it's completely different.
Such a wild thing to think about.
So you can do the same thing with things that are going to happen to you. You can like, I can go into meditation and feel like so excited and so happy that I got something even though I haven't gotten it. And then my body is naturally going to like make choices and like do things that are going to attract that experience into my life, because in my brain it's already happened.
That can even kind of go into dating.
Absolutely. I do it for like finding people like all the time. Like, okay, what's it going to feel like when I am in love? Like, how am I going to walk? Like, how's my everything going to be? And then you can just like really bring your manifestations to light. And through doing that.
Have you seen that?
Absolutely.
You have?
Yeah, like I've
What's
seen
a good example? Like something you've called in that sense?
I think the biggest thing that I had on the first retreat was like he teaches you about love, and like the whole version of like having a better life experience is like having love for yourself, like within your own body, not externally, not from a circumstance, not from a person, but literally from you. And like that was my biggest like breakthrough on the first retreat, was like I felt this like crazy like surge of love for myself that I was like, whoa, I didn't realize that I felt so deeply disconnected from love, because I think I like built this crazy wall up in like my heart when I went through my divorce, that I was like, I'm never going to let anyone have access to this because it hurt so much when it ended. So that when I felt this, when I was like meditating, I felt this like huge surge of love. I was like, whoa, like I actually have the capacity
Just from meditating.
from
like,
meditating.
I'm just trying to comprehend because
Yeah.
like for
I'm gonna
me,
send you. He has like a like. There's a movie about it and like
Okay.
a book. I'm gonna send you some resources you can
yes.
include if
Yeah.
people are interested.
Totally.
Because the way that he like, I didn't understand it either until like I felt it myself, and I was like, wow, like I've been so disconnected from that. No wonder I can't attract it in my life. I don't even know what it feels like. I feel so far from it.
Do you think because we're so on the go?
No, I think what I've learned is, and this is something I practice with myself all the time, is I am an on-the-go person. Like this is my like happy place, is like when I'm busy and moving.
Me too.
And I used to think that like I need to like stay in one place to meet someone, and I need to be, you know, how am I going to meet someone if I'm always traveling and always everywhere? And it's like that's what makes me happy. So if this is what makes me happy, this is the state I need to be in order to receive that person.
The right person. That's
because
right.
like
that
most,
makes so much sense.
You know,
Yeah.
and it's hard.
You don't need
sometimes
to fit in someone else's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like if they're meant to be in my life, like they will come in wherever I am. It doesn't matter what city, country, location I'm at. It will just happen. And I've seen that happen. Like the last guy I dated briefly, like I just like met him out randomly. Like we had matched on an app, and I just like kind of stopped responding to him. And then I randomly saw him out when I was having fun with my friends, not looking to meet anyone, just doing me.
It's the best.
And then I ended up it didn't end up going anywhere, but like I learned a lot from like the experience with him. And I think it was because I was just like so present with like, I was just enjoying my life. I wasn't like trying to talk to anyone.
That's exactly how I met my fiance. I had broken up with my then ex. He was just like the most toxic person for me personally, just not right. And I went on a trip to Israel that I was not supposed to be on, and just having a really good time with my cousin Julian. And I mean, I had never had such a, you know, like those like belly laughs, like that summer was that. It was just like a lot of belly laughs with my cousin, not thinking about anything else. I was like, I'm going into this part of my life like completely just, I don't even want to date anyone.
Right.
I want to just have fun, and I want to do me. And then I meet this kid.
I love that.
And here we are getting married. So like not at all what I thought it would be, you know?
And I don't like when people are like, it happens when you're not looking for it. I think it's less about when you're not looking for it and more that you know that you have it. You don't need it from someone else.
Yes, and I think it also happens when you're truly just in your joy. Does that make sense? Like,
absolutely.
When you're in your joy, in your happiness, people feel that.
Exactly.
And I think then just like, you know, God, the universe just sends the right things your way because you're in alignment, you know? Yeah.
And that's what I feel like. So on the first like retreat, that's what I felt. And I like started just like seeing that, at least like the next person I dated was just different. Like he made me feel like he was like an anxious attachment style, and I guess I had generally dated like more avoidant. And so it was just like a nice experience for me to have like someone who I felt like was like always one step ahead of me.
Yes.
In that sense, where I had never like dated anyone like that before. And then most recently, I literally just got back from my second retreat with Joe Dispenza on Sunday. And what I realized was I was like in this meditation. I don't remember what I was meditating on, but I had this feeling that I've been so scared to like now that I know I can do it, I've been scared to give someone access to it. And like I've been essentially attracting myself. Like forward facing, really want it.
Yes.
But when it comes down to it, like not actually ready for it. And because I was able to confront that and like sit with myself and be like, I don't want to identify with that anymore. Like I don't want fear to like rule my life. That's why I know like I'm closer now than ever to meeting someone, because I I know that like even if it ends, I have like the love in my heart for myself that like it's not gonna, no one's giving me love. Like I don't need love from anyone. They're just gonna add love to my life.
Love that.
And like that is the difference.
It's so good because through all of my experiences, that's what I've learned is that I don't need anybody. Like let's say Adam were to leave my life tomorrow, I'd still be okay.
You'd still be okay.
I would still be okay. I love him. I adore him. I can't wait to marry him. But if, God forbid, something went wrong, it would be okay. I would still be, because I love myself.
Exactly.
I love the version of myself that I am now, and which is so cool too, because I love myself with him, but because I love how I feel.
Exactly.
You know, it's not attachment
dependent on
all.
him. And I feel like that's what people, and I think that I like had this like recent realization also last week when I was like, I was raised very much that like you're not whole until you meet your soulmate. Like, and that's what completes you. And that's kind of
that's
like,
what we're taught.
That's
too.
what we're taught. So I just don't, I think, and subconsciously, I think that's how I've always felt. Like, I'm not going to be like my truest self or like a whole human until I meet someone else. And I don't associate with that anymore. I don't believe in that.
Totally, I'm with you.
I do think that with someone, like I love being married. I think like you can do a lot of beautiful things with a partner, and a partner like should elevate your life experience, but you're still whole before you meet them. So I think
what advice would you give? I'm getting married now, right?
Okay.
What advice would you give me going into marriage?
Okay. I would definitely say, I mean, do you live together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like when you live together, it's like
different.
it's the same. Like marriage isn't that different. It's
not.
more,
We're
it's like
signing
a
some
contract.
papers
Yeah,
and
you
having
have
a really good
contract.
party.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's the living together is like a bigger adjustment for me at least, because I think like that's when you really like, then obviously marriage is like the paper and the long-term commitment. But the living together, I think, is like the biggest change that you experience.
So we're good then.
I think you're good. I think if you can live with someone, like, I think you're golden.
Do you want to get married again?
Definitely.
I love that.
I want to get married again, like legally, because I want to have kids, and I think kids should know that their parents are legally bound to each other.
Okay.
But I would otherwise, if I like didn't want kids, I would just do like a ceremony to celebrate love. I wouldn't do it legally, because I just think the legality of it is annoying. And
yes.
I just like I would definitely do a prenup next time around. Yeah. And I didn't even like have to fight over assets. I just like think it took extra time when it didn't need to be. And I don't believe
more
that
the paperwork
like,
stuff you're saying rather than the
Yeah, and I think that like just because you get a prenup doesn't mean like you think you're gonna break up. I just think you're being like smart.
Yeah, safe and smart. Totally.
Yeah,
love that. Oh my God, do I need a prenup? Love it. Amazing.
That's just my opinion.
What's the next step for you now?
Ooh, I'm trying to, within my content, trying to talk about growth more, because when I was married, I did a lot of like fashion, beauty, but a lot of like relationship content. And then when I became single, I went like hard into like being single and being comfortable. And I loved that.
So relatable too for so many.
Exactly. Yeah. And it was like, and it felt very authentic to me. And then in the past year, I've just been feeling like kind of disconnected. I'm like, I just don't feel, even though I am single, I don't feel single in like a full capacity where I want to like be making videos about it. And I'd rather be focusing more. And I've just been doing a lot of like personal growth, and that feels like more of a calling to me now. So
I think this is so cool to see, because I feel like your followers have probably been following you from the jump. And like you said, this is your chapter 3. And I think that if you stay the same always, like it kind of gets boring. Like the whole point of life is growth, right?
Exactly.
And this is, I love how you call it chapters. Like this, like your chapter 3 is such a testament. And I feel like at our age too, I'm the same age as you. So like at our age, like this is growth. Like this is the time for growth. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, and it's exciting. And I think I had to get comfortable with I used to think that I can't share my growth until I've like gotten to my highest self, or like found that guy and been in the relationship. I was like, what?
So false.
You know, I'm not, and I'm like, that's not true. Like I've come so far, like whatever steps I've made have been really impactful. And why can't I share my journey without like being at the end goal already?
There's no end goal ever. Yeah. We're constantly growing, constantly changing, ever changing. I love saying that.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
So it's a beautiful place to be.
So what's one thing you'd like to leave our audience with today? Like one piece of advice to a young single girl?
I would say don't be afraid of change is like number one.
Love that.
And I think like trying to like listen to yourself a little bit more. I'm still practicing this, but I was dating my ex-boyfriend. I went to Miami and I was like living there for a few months. I loved it. And I was like, this is where I want to live. And we were going to move together and like I was really excited about it. And then we broke up and I was like, I'm not going to move to Miami by myself. Like I can't do that. That seems way too scary. So I signed a lease in New York and then I ended up after like a month and a half breaking it because I was like, I'm not happy here. Like I want to be in Miami. And I made the decision to move on my own, which was so scary.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did it like very like within a month. I was just like, I'm doing this.
Yes.
And that was like the best thing I've ever done for myself. So I think like listening to those like intuitive nudges with change, even though they may seem scary, like honor them because it's just going to like bring you to the next level.
Absolutely. I love saying if there's an opportunity for change, lean into that. Like that is the growth. That is the epic moment.
And if you don't like it, then you can do something else.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
I feel like Miami's going to be really good for you.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
How long have you been here?
A little over a year.
A little over a year, okay.
Yeah, and I do like Miami and New York. Yeah, I have my family in New York, so I do both.
Love it.
I think the lifestyle here matches like my work schedule way more. Even the guys are more like flexible.
Yes.
It's nice.
Love that. Well, welcome to Miami.
Thank you
and thanks
so
for being
much.
my new friend.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm really excited.
Now we have to do dinner.
100%. Now we can get to the dinner part. Thank you so much.
Thank you
so
for
happy to have
having
you
me.
here. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe to That So Kiva podcast on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I'm just so grateful that you guys keep coming back here and just keep showing us some love.